All right, let's talk about one of the most unforgettable characters ever written. A girl with hair as red as her temper and an imagination that could change the world, or at least her little corner of it. Today, we're diving into the story of Anne Shirley and her journey to Green Gables.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures her, doesn't it? This is Anne. And right away, you get that she's not like other people. She's an orphan, she's had a really rough start in life, but she has this incredible ability to find beauty in the simplest things. You have to understand, for Anne, this isn't just being cheerful. It's a survival skill. It's how she painted over a pretty grim and loveless childhood.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The entire story really kicks off with a fortunate mistake. It all starts with the Cuthberts, Marilla and Matthew. They're a brother and sister, getting on in years, and their life at their farm, Green Gables, is, well, it's very quiet, very predictable. They realize they need a hand with the chores, so they make a very practical decision. They'll adopt a boy from an orphanage. So, shy Matthew Cuthbert heads off to the train station to pick up their new farmhand. But, surprise, there's been a huge mix-up. The boy he was expecting, nowhere to be found. Instead, there's this scrawny, freckled, red-headed girl who will not stop talking. The plan has officially gone off the rails. You can just picture him walking in the door, totally bewildered, trying to explain this to his sister. There wasn't any boy. There was only her. I mean, the shock. For the very practical Cuthberts, this isn't just a funny little mistake. Oh no, this is a capital P problem. And Marilla, being Marilla, is all business. Her reaction is immediate and firm. This girl will have to be sent back to the asylum. And for Anne, can you just imagine the heartbreak? She spent the entire carriage ride from the station dreaming up this beautiful new life, and in an instant, it's about to be ripped away. But then, just when all hope seems lost, the most unexpected person speaks up. Matthew. Quiet, painfully shy Matthew, who was terrified of talking to little girls, he actually defends her. It's a quiet little protest, but coming from him, it's huge. And it's the first tiny crack in Marilla's firm resolve. So even with her entire future hanging by a thread, Anne doesn't just sit around and mope. That's not her style. She immediately gets to work carving out a place for herself, using the most powerful tool she has, her imagination. And she does this with everything. That ordinary lane of apple trees? Nope. That is the white way of delight. Her reflection in a bookcase store? That's her there friend, Katie Maurice. See, this isn't just daydreaming. This is how she builds a world she can live in. A world filled with the beauty and friendship she's never, ever had. And wow, she is so direct about what she wants. She tells Marilla she wants to call her Aunt Marilla because it would make her feel like she truly belonged. She's not just looking for a roof over her head, you know? She is absolutely starving for a real family, for a connection. This just floors Marilla, who is not exactly the sentimental type. Well, Marilla agrees to a trial run, and from that moment on, life at Green Gables is never, ever quiet again. Anne's about to fill Avonlea with scrapes, kindred spirits, and a whole lot of drama. Because with Anne, there's no middle ground. Everything is either an adventure or a total catastrophe. Her first order of business, find a bosom friend. And she finds her kindred spirit in Diana Barry, the girl from the farm next door. Their friendship is instant, it's intense, and it's sealed with a ridiculously dramatic oath. And just like that, Anne has the one thing she's always wanted most in the world. Of course, along with friendship comes chaos. Let's look at Anne's greatest hits of disasters, or as she calls them, scrapes. Her intentions are always pure gold, but the results? Yikes. She accidentally gets Diana drunk on currant wine, she bakes a cake with horse liniment instead of vanilla, and, my personal favorite, she tries to dye her red hair a beautiful raven black, and it turns green. Every single one is a hilarious, hard-won lesson. But life isn't just about mishaps at home. School brings a whole new challenge, a whole new kind of drama. It brings ambition and rivalry, and it all comes in the form of one person, Gilbert Blythe. And their introduction is, well, it's legendary. In a bad way. Gilbert, trying to be funny and get her attention, teasingly calls her carrots. Big mistake. Huge. For Anne, who's so sensitive about her red hair, this is the ultimate insult. Her response? She cracks her slate right over his head and vows, "I'll never forgive Gilbert Blythe." And boy,
does she mean it?
And just like that, an epic academic rivalry is born. What's so great about it is why they're competing. For Anne, it's pure pride. She will not be outdone by him. For Gilbert, he feels terrible. He's actually competing to win her respect. And the result of all this tension, they push each other to become the smartest students in their entire class.
All that intense focus, all that hard work, it's all leading somewhere big. This next part of the story, it's the highest of highs, followed by the absolute lowest of lows. We're talking about the glory and the dream and the deep sorrow that comes right on its heels.
And she does it. Anne doesn't just pass her exams. She wins the Avery Scholarship. This is a huge deal. It means a fully paid-for university degree. Her future suddenly seems bright and limitless. She even beat Gilbert. It feels like nothing can stop her now.
And in that moment of triumph, she gets the one thing that means more to her than any award. Matthew, who's a man of so few words, looks at her and says, my girl that I'm proud of. For Matthew, that's practically a 10-minute speech. It's the validation she's been longing for, from the first person who ever truly believed in her.
And then, the very next day, the floor just drops out from under them. After learning some bad news about the bank, Matthew has a sudden, fatal heart attack. And just like that, he's gone. The quiet, gentle soul who was her first real friend at Green Gables, it's absolutely devastating. And Anne's world is completely shattered. On top of losing Matthew, she learns that Marilla's eyesight is failing badly, and she's in danger of going blind. Anne knows what she has to do. She makes this incredibly mature, painful choice. She gives up the Avery Scholarship, she gives up her dream of college to stay at Green Gables and take care of Marilla.
But this isn't the end. Anne always talked about life having a bend in the road, that unexpected turn that changes everything. And right when our world seems to have shrunk to its smallest point, a new path opens up, thanks to the most unexpected person imaginable.
And guess who it is? Gilbert Blythe. Turns out he was given the teaching job at the Avonlea school, but when he hears about Anne's situation, he quietly gives up the position and takes a job farther away just so Anne can teach in Avonlea and stay home at Green Gables. It's an incredibly kind, selfless act. And that one act of kindness finally does what years of apologies never could. It shatters that 5-year-old grudge. Anne finally sees him for who he really is. They meet on the road and she thanks him and she says, we are going to be the best of friends. The rivalry is finally truly over. So Anne's path is no longer the grand one she dreamed of, but it's a life full of love, purpose, and deep, true friendship. Her whole story, which started with a mistake, the wrong orphan at the train station, ended up being exactly right. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if the best parts of our lives aren't the ones we plan at all, but the ones that find us completely by accident?